Good morning, Chetan. And
Good morning.
what I just wanted to start with this great feeling of gratitude I have. I mean, imagine Sunday morning, such a beautiful place, so much of silence, the woods around, the birds, the flowers. I mean, what this is dream, right? This is such a dream life. This is what I have at least always dreamt my life to be. And see, here I'm living that, and how much gratitude you can have to life for allowing you to experience your dream. And of course, dream play, that's a beautiful word out there. Okay, going away, that's very much. So one day probably we'll talk about what is a dream and what is reality. But at least at this moment, I am experiencing my dream in real, and I can't be more grateful to life. And I'm going to start with a question I had while I was having a bath today. Okay, and we'll come to Paristhiti and Manisthiti definitely later. We'll start with that. But the first question I had today while having a bath was, how do you manage to maintain a pet like this? I mean, some tips on how do you maintain. I think the viewers, the viewers are getting a view of that hair. How do you manage to do that? Yeah, I've struggled and I never could do that.
अच्छा in manage obviously I love my hair, so obviously so it's not managing when you have love with something. It's whether it's hair
Uh,
or whether it's anything in life. You just it all happens. You
Right.
don't right now you are asking me question then मतलब वो मेरे को conscious कर रहा है.
हाँ,
और मेरे को लग रहा है कि I have not thought like that,
अच्छा,
but it comes from some root.
okay,
Because like my grandfather was in army.
okay.
तो उसकी वजह से ना माई फादर ऑलवेज हैड शॉर्ट हेयर
Oh,
क्योंकि वो बड़े
हाँ,
बाल नहीं रखने देते थे.
हाँ,
एंड इवन माई व्हेन माई फादर वाज देयर
हाँ,
तो मैं बहुत सालों तक
हाँ,
मैं बहुत बहुत एक बार तो ऐसा भी हुआ है ही ऑलवेज कम यूज टू कम टू मी टू सैलून
हाँ,
कि इसके बाल ऐसा
करो
उस टाइम पे
करके,
ना
हाँ,
जीरो कट बोलते थे.
हाँ, जीरो कट,
जीरो कट
हाँ,
मतलब यू अभी तो
हाँ,
ऐसा है ना
हाँ,
दैट यू गो टू सैलून आई टेल देम कि ओके आई हैव नीड दिस थिंग
correct,
सिर्फ यहाँ से करना है इंस्टेंट.
correct,
उस टाइम पे आपको बस बेंच पे बिठा देंगे.
correct,
जीरो कट
correct,
एक मशीन आती थी जीरो
correct,
मशीन
correct, correct. वो
घुमा
घूम
दिया
रहे
बस
हैं,
इट्स गॉन.
हाँ,
तो आई ऑलवेज हैड दैट जीरो कट. इनफैक्ट फिर बहुत बार ऐसा होता था कि मेरे को अगर बाल कटाने या मैं डैड को लेके ही नहीं जाता था.
हाँ,
मैं खुद ही जाके बाल कटवा लेता था.
हाँ,
फिर घर पे आने के बाद ही यूज्ड टू सेंड मी अगेन
हाँ,
कि नहीं बाल बड़ा है
हाँ,
हाथ पे नहीं आना
हाथ
चाहिए
में,
बाल.
हाँ, हाँ, हाथ में नहीं
तो
आते.
आई हैड दिस माइंडसेट. तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता था कि बड़े बाल मेरे को अच्छे लगते हैं बट आई नेवर हैड अ चांस. So by the time when I started earning and at that time when I could take my decision, so I started growing my hair. In fact, मैं अपने ऑफिस में भी कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में आई यूज टू कीप दिस हेयर. मतलब इतने ज्यादा बड़े नहीं इतनी ज्यादा शेप नहीं बट आई यूज टू कीप एंड दे और वहाँ पे कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर होता है ना दैट यू हैव टू बी नीट एंड क्लीन. बट सो मैं एक एडवांटेज ले लेता था. मैं मॉम इज पंजाबी डैड महाराष्ट्र. तो मैं उसको उनको बोलता था कि आई एम हाफ पंजाबी यू कांट टेल मी टू कट माय हेयर. तो मैं बहुत बड़ा लगता बट हाँ अब आफ्टर आई हैव लेफ्ट द कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस आई जस्ट ग्रोइंग. तो बट मैं आई ऑलवेज फाइंड कि अच्छा अब मैं जाके थोड़ा और उसको ये करवा देता हूँ
बट क्या करते हो, विच शैम्पू यू यूज, कोई रेडी शैम्पू करते हो क्या? थोड़ा तो कुछ तो सम प्रैक्टिकल टिप्स विद द ऑडियंस who loves wants to have a big hair.
उसका पूरा क्रेडिट ना मेरी वाइफ को जाता है.
अच्छा, shooting.
हाँ शी गाइड्स मी कि हाँ
She-
ऐसे करो वैसे करो. सो इन द रिट्रीट आल्सो इन द मॉर्निंग आई गिव हर कॉल. शी सेज कि नहीं यू डू द शैम्पू अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है ये बाल बनाओ ऐसे करो वैसे.
Okay, very good. No, that's interesting. And as you're telling, narrating your story, I was just wondering, even with something like a long hair, there is a story behind it.
Absolutely.
Right?
We
Everything
all are
is
nothing but stories.
Okay, and behind everything, there is so much of conditioning.
Because everybody wants कि मेरा अगर जो story है ना it has to be successful. Because future generation if I tell my story they should be proud of me. They should be proud of me. चलो ठीक है one thing. Second biggest toxic is they should be like me. Then you start telling them see this my life has been like that. It is a rule book for you that
And
you
they
should
want
get
others to
married.
follow that rule.
You should follow. and generations after generations people follow until कोई ऐसा आता है free bird and they decides कि no, it's my life.
And I think that's very interesting. It just reminds me of the session I did yesterday at this retreat about beliefs. Okay? And one of the points came up was how do we so automatically enforce our beliefs on others, saying that, hey, you should do something like, no, no, this is wrong, no, no, yeah. And there was a participant who was saying, is it necessary or is it important for me to change for the sake of others? And there was this other participant, she vigorously shook and said, no, no, you should never change yourself for others. Okay. And probably that may be right. Probably that is the way. But think of a person who is getting married to somebody else. And we know in marriage, when two people come together, probably you may need to change some habits of yours for the sake of the person you love, maybe. Okay. So you never know. Nothing is true in all scenarios. But you are right. We so tend to enforce our beliefs and our
Beliefs
stories
on
on
others.
others. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. But I was fascinated by the fact that so many things that we do in our adult age have our roots in what happened in our childhood, and childhood has such deep influence
Very much.
in our adult life. Even things like a long hair. I never thought that would have
That
a
was a
story
story
related
and nobody
to.
has asked me that.
Yeah.
मैं because नहीं even I this is a आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. There are people who feels that I have grown this hair and beard because I'm in the spiritual
Spiritual
path.
path. Yeah.
But it is not like that.
Yeah.
Because now even I'm thinking okay ये beard बहुत बड़ा है. I have to उसको
हाँ.
उसको shape में करके
हाँ.
now they have a trend. So my look will be different.
Different.
But that is my choice. It's
Yeah.
not because I'm on this path. Everybody on this path.
Yeah.
Like you were telling about the marriage.
Yeah.
कि marriage में you have to adjust.
हाँ.
But मेरे को लगता है suddenly it came to me something. It's
Yeah.
not because I have a very healthy married life.
Correct.
Okay, it's very good. But if you tell me I have changed, yes, I have changed. But that has not come from the fact that I have to impress somebody.
Correct.
That has come from this thing that I have to make somebody feel special. Like for example, if she feels that okay, I, मतलब she does lot of things. She's a very good cook. She's an artist, Shweta. तो वो क्या करती है ना, she knows that I love food. तो मेरा जो favorite food होगा ना, she will take all the efforts. Like before coming to the retreat also, she will make all the efforts to make that thing, and it is not to impress me. It is to make me feel special. So
Her way of
when you
expressing
feel
love.
special,
Yeah.
you want to do it more.
Correct.
It's just the way the universe is.
Correct.
Like you said, you started with gratitude.
Correct.
Obviously, it's a Sunday. There are so many people. They are thinking it's and actually Sunday in Catholic is a Sunday.
Correct.
Is the सूर्य का दिन होता है, and it's a day of
रविवार.
रविवार
That's
is
the
सूर्य
same
का
day.
दिन, and it's also a holiday. Holiday they say. Holiday. It's a holiday. They just think कि मतलब they say कि after creating this earth for 6 days, God has taken a rest, and that's why it's Sunday.
Correct.
और हॉलीडे.
Yeah.
बट पीपल शुड हॉलीडे एंड होलीडे में बहुत फर्क होता है. फॉर अस इट्स एक्चुअली अ हॉलीडे.
Yeah. It's
You
a
be
holiday.
in this
Absolute.
space
Be in this
and
space. Yeah.
just
And-
be yourself.
Yeah. And I was just, as we were talking, I was just observing how there was a butterfly going out here, and then
The sun
you
has
saw
set
how
in
the
it.
sun has set and the shade has come in. Okay. And yeah, there is. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And the moment the sun has set, if you have observed, the colors on the leaves have changed.
Yeah.
The flowers have
Yeah.
changed. Every moment the color is different.
Correct. Correct. And that's beauty. And the sun is coming back slowly again, as you say that. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Who works in tandem with whom? Okay. But I think when you work in tandem with nature, life is so beautiful. Okay. And probably that will be some conversation someday. Okay. But let's come back, and we spoke last time about paristhiti and manasthiti. Sthiti is sthiti. Okay. Whatever it is. Paristhiti par is external, man is internal. So we are essentially talking about an external situation or an external world and an internal situation, an internal world. And always there is this drama of control going on. The external world is trying to control your internal world, whereas this internal world, you are also trying to control the external world because you want the world to be in certain way, whereas the world also wants you to be. So there is this continuous drama going on between the external world and the internal. Probably that is the only drama that is happening. How have you dealt with, or how are you dealing with this? Okay, with this, if you can probably start with that, and how the external world has influenced your internal world, and how you have your internal world you use to influence the external or your external world. I mean, when I say external world, I don't mean influence the others, but to create. Because how do you create your external world through your internal world? So that is what I mean.
See, at this point of time in life, I never try to control the external because that is not in my hand. बिकॉज इट्स जस्ट लाइक आई वाज टेलिंग यू लास्ट टाइम ऑल्सो कि हम एक छोटा सा दिया है तो सूरज को हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते वी कैन जस्ट ड्रॉ इंस्पिरेशन
But can we then also it is a lot of times it is said that and probably control is not may not be the best word, but we also think that we create our reality, we create our external world. Reality is sthiti, right? We create our reality. So how do you do that? I mean, do you even use that, or do you even feel that why should I create? Let reality happen. I mean, or do you make an attempt to create your world for yourself?
ओके हाँ तो वो द सेम थिंग विच वी वर टॉकिंग इन द लास्ट कॉन्वर्जेशन मनस्थिति परिस्थिति तो इट्स अ सिंपल in simple terms if you are standing before the mirror and if there is something wrong on your face you don't fix the mirror,
Correct.
you do whatever is there, you fix it on your face.
So logical, but never happens.
But it's the same thing. It's like if you think that परिस्थिति is not good और उसके वजह से मेरा मनस्थिति खराब है,
Correct.
that is a मतलब wrong viewpoint.
Correct.
Because आप देखते हो कि lot of people in the you have seen in the retreats also people come, my boss is like that.
Correct.
मेरा हमेशा मेरे साथ ऐसा होता है.
Almost always people.
Wherever I work, I don't get the credit.
Yeah.
For some time, even you have said yesterday that people don't want to take the ownership. That okay, maybe my boss is right. Something I have to change, or maybe why every time I'm having this experience. Why every time I have to play out as a victim? What we were discussing yesterday. So I feel that whenever I go through something, it's see emotions are with everyone. It's not that you are on the spiritual path or you are in the physical path. We all have to go through the emotions. It's God gifted. Okay, but just that I have come to the point that if I'm not comfortable with something, so that is my manasthiti. It's nothing related to the parasthiti. Like for example, there a graveyard. Or say, Lakke he does a cricket ground, and the children are playing. They are very happy, and everything is there. One day, out of the मतलब जितने भी लोग खेलते थे वहाँ पे, somebody is died. Maybe उसका father or mother, the person has died. Now the situation is same. मतलब उसी graveyard में उसने उसके last rites किए हैं उसने. Now the next time he is going to play the cricket, he is not the same person. Situation is same. Manasthiti is different. And you go to the office, you know that if you are not feeling good, no matter if you are talking to the best person in the world, you don't feel good. And according to that, you start listening to your songs. You start modifying your playlist.
Whatever, yeah.
So you लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि today I'm going through these problems. Just in case my boss gives me promotion and I get a raise in salary, तो मेरा ये problems ठीक हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, maybe he has a certain salary and major chunk of it is going in EMIs and he gets a promotion also, he gets a hike also. But if you talk to the same person in the next promotion, he will tell you the same. Because जब तक आप मनस्थिति ठीक नहीं करते हो ना, परिस्थिति आपकी कितनी भी ठीक होगी, परिस्थिति वैसे ही आ जाएगी. It's like a AC temperature in the room.
Correct.
आप इस room temperature is 20, the room is locked.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
your मनस्थिति. आपने
Yeah.
दरवाजा खोल दिया.
There is a thermostat.
Situation, हाँ, thermostat situation changed. But the moment the door is closed again, वैसे because आप आज अगर in case you are earning 10,000 rupees and you don't know how to manage it. So tomorrow, if you are earning 1 lakh rupees also, you will face the same situation because you have to change your manasthiti. That's why if you, I have one thing I have think people who are successful in common, they read a lot. So even I read a lot. I do read a lot of books. Maybe if I'm going somewhere, I'm not sure if I'm going to read it also. But you have always seen that I have a book in hand.
Yeah.
So I read a lot, and always if I go through something, I don't react it. I just wait, and I know that this is something manasthiti I'm going through. So I try to improve that. And or वो ना, it's like a sculptor making a sculpture. It takes time. First day, if you see a stone, और आप जो देख रहे हो, as per your manasthiti, you see it's a normal stone. But a sculpture with his sculptor with his manasthiti is seeing something to totally a different thing. फिर वो जब उसको वैसे देखने लगता है मनस्थिति, तो वो मनस्थिति के अकॉर्डिंगली परिस्थिति चेंज करता है. So this everything outside is paristhiti, but that is just a reflection of your manasthiti. So you have to focus here. Because बाहर से आप कितना भी focus कर लो, you become a victim. You try saying that okay, my life is not going right because I have not got the promotion. My first boss was like that, and I had a very difficult childhood, difficult marriage. Okay, past was past, but all said and done, what next? So if you know that okay, what next? Okay, whatever has happened, I can't change it. But maybe now I have to change my perspective towards my past. So the future is different. But the people are taking the same baggage for years and years. They talk to you about okay, this is my problem, and you will give the solution. And आपको लगेगा ना, if you closely monitor, they have the solution. But they feel if the problem is not there, what I will do? मतलब they see their problems at their clothes. If the clothes are not there, I'll be naked. They मतलब उनको वो emotional nakedness they can't take it. मतलब उनको नहीं अच्छा लगता है. That's why they come to retreats. Some of them come to retreats. They enjoy for some time. They feel good. They say हाँ मेरे को मिल गया solution. That's it. And the next retreat, if you talk to them, they have the same problems.
No, I some interesting points, and I'm a student of NLP, so I'll just try also to distill the structure underneath. Okay. And I heard you talking about two practices. Okay, one is your practice of reading a lot. Okay, you read a lot. Okay, and yeah, I resonate with that. I also read a lot. But one is reading, and the second practice that you talked about, okay, is about, if I were to just refine it a little, about being an observer of your manasthiti. So whenever a situation doesn't go as per how you expected it to go, that is what we mean by a situation going wrong. Okay, we always define it is in terms of right and wrong. But what is the definition of right? Is when a situation happens the way we wanted, we feel it is right. If it happens the way we didn't expect it, we call it wrong. So when a situation happens, or when a paristhiti happens that is not as per your expectation, then you just step back a little and reflect, or observe rather, on what has been your manasthiti at that time. Okay, and you work on that. You work on that. Okay. I think these are two beautiful practices that all of us can really look at and try and adopt. Okay. And one thing that you said reminded me so much about what I have learned in my therapy classes, is that people always know their solutions.
Absolutely. Yes.
And people always also have the resources to fix it. It is just that and there could be various reasons. One of the reasons why they don't do it, okay, various reasons why they don't do it. And one of the reasons why they don't do it, as you said, is that probably they are in love with their problems. Probably, as you said, their problems have become their clothes, which, if I were to use the language of psychology, their problems have become their identity. And they have become self-image. They have become so much their identity that if I lose that, then it's like losing my clothes and becoming naked. Okay, and no matter how they are, I don't want to do that because the mind doesn't allow you. So identity is another beautiful topic. But one of the reasons why, while people know what are the problems and people also have the resources, one of the reasons they may not be able to access it is because it has become so much part of their whole their own definition of themselves. I think that is a beautiful time to close. What I would want to speak when we speak next is going to be a little bit about you. I heard you say almost continuously, and I know I also keep on saying that is that finally all work needs to be done on manasthiti. When you work on manasthiti, the paristhiti will change. That is the crux of what you are trying to say. What I would want to hear from you, and you talked about two things. One is reading, one is becoming observer. But once I become an observer and I observe, how do I work on my manasthiti? And rather, I would want to hear from you. How have you worked on your manasthiti? Okay, when you went through those times like your father's sudden death, or other situations in life when you had a well-paid job and you just put down your papers, okay, to do what was your calling. And these are dramatic situations, but I'm sure there have been other difficult situations or other situations where the sthiti wasn't how you expected. How do you work on your manasthiti in such times? Okay. Probably that would be a beautiful conversation to have.
Yes. So let's continue this in the next episode. It's a beautiful start, and I'm sure that everyone goes through. And as we speak, also as we sit here, there are people who are going to a lot of challenging parasthiti situations.
Mm.
And before we close and go to the next session, one thing I always feel that whatever I'm going through is going to be temporary.
Yeah.
Is
Mm.
there's nothing permanent in this life. Everything is temporary.
Mm.
Well, people feel
Mm.
they, that happiness is temporary,
Mm.
pain is permanent.
Yeah.
And I feel most of the things people have this ideology
Mm.
is because they have not. One major reason is they have not understand their religion better, or
Mm.
maybe the people they follow better. Like for
Mm.
example,
Mm.
people say, I have a lot of friends who quote this thing a lot of time. Buddha has said life is
Mm.
suffering,
Mm. Mm.
but they don't know कि again and again you are telling the same thing. Life is suffering.
Mm.
In what way Buddha has said?
Yeah.
They have
What is
not
the
understood.
context? They have not understood the
They
context.
have not
They have
understood the
taken it only the
context.
literal meaning. They have taken the literal meaning.
Then if you ask them कि what is suffering,
Mm.
when you come to this body you have to suffer.
Suffer.
See, there's a difference between suffering and experience.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
so
Mm.
we are here to experience.
Mm. Mm.
आपको आप you are in a marriage,
Mm.
you want to experience all positivity of your wife,
Mm.
but
But it's a
when you
package.
marry when you marry, it's like you say I accept you in totality,
In totality.
but
In totality.
they don't accept in totality.
Yeah.
They accept the parts.
Yeah.
And बहुत सारे लोग हैं, they almost they are celebrating silver jubilee, golden jubilee on the
Yeah.
marriage
Yeah.
by
On
accepting
Facebook
only
only.
that parts.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Totality में एक दूसरे को समझते ही
समझते
नहीं
नहीं
है.
समझते
तो but the human are so creative and intelligent कि मैंने आपके कुछ पार्ट एक्सेप्ट कर लिए, आपने कुछ पार्ट एक्सेप्ट कर लिए, and with that acceptance only they spend their whole
whole
life.
life. Yeah.
तो total
adjusting and compromising. Yesterday somebody was saying
हाँ,
about compromise. Yeah, it's about
people
yeah.
don't living like this thing only. I love this job, but I don't accept in totality.
Totality.
I don't accept my relation in totality. There is no totality at all. अलग अलग क्यूब्स है विच उसको जोड़ के अपनी स्टोरी बना दी है एंड दे से दिस इज माय लाइफ एंड दे उन्होंने वही क्यूब्स उठाए हैं जो एक्सेप्ट छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स उठा के द लाइफ इज लुकिंग ब्यूटीफुल बट प्रॉब्लम इज they have created a beautiful story but if you just go deep in that person the what is the driving force of his life is the painful points which he is hiding. So when I say accept in totality your manisthiti, I'm saying that everything is temporary. Even the good I have this book also with this name Good Times Bad Times.
Good times, bad times. Yeah.
So good time is bad time is two sides of the same coin.
coin.
When Buddha has said life is a suffering, in a way it's an experience of suffering. And when you experience suffering, it is not possible that you can't experience joy. Because it comes in a package. बट वो सफरिंग सफरिंग लोगों के दिमाग में इतना ज्यादा है ना देन दे और पीपल आर वेरी क्रिएटिव यू आस्क एनी पीपल पर्सन एंड कॉलेज में everybody will say I'm different, I'm unique. Even the office maybe will say na everybody will have an opinion that I'm very hardworking. My colleagues are
Proactive.
jealous. My colleagues are jealous.
Yeah.
I'm very hardworking. If any new member comes in my team, I'm very welcoming. My boss is like that. My boss is dependent on me. Even I have these people. Company is dependent on me.
Correct.
मतलब वो तो लोगों को इतना first they have to understand themselves. They have to accept themselves in totality. Okay, I have made mistakes and मैंने हमेशा सिर्फ दूसरों को मतलब अपनी जो परिस्थिति है उसको चेंज करने का ट्राई किया है मे बी आज से आई डिसाइड लेट मी पास्ट आई कांट डिटैच माई सेल्फ इट्स पार्ट ऑफ मी जस्ट लाइक माई हैंड्स एंड थिंग बट मे बी आज से लेट मी फोकस ऑन माई मनस्थिति रिलीजियसली एंड सी इफ द सिचुएशन चेंज एंड इट चेंज इट्स from my own life. Maybe in the next session we can continue.
I would love to hear how
Yes.
you have done that for yourself because probably there is some learning from that. But my takeaways for today: reading books. My takeaway of today: becoming an observer, especially at times when things are not going as per how you expected it to be. Okay. And third thing. Is looking at life in totality, not just the happy or the positive or the sad part of it, but the fact that it is all together. I think with these three beautiful points, we'll end the conversation here. And always lovely being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
See you soon.